No boat building video is complete without a picture of the sailing ship. This is the USS Constitution, a frigate, and still a commissioned ship in the United States Navy. Hi everybody, welcome back to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins. In this episode, we're going to figure out what we have to do to get the bridle or the span on the upper end of the gaff. Took a little bit of figuring, a little bit of measuring, but I think I've got it figured out. If you are new to the channel, would you consider subscribing? And so I guess we're episode 123 for those of you that are coming back. There are on the channel about 4 playlists of this entire build, which goes back, oh my gosh, getting close to 5 years. So anyway, if you're interested in looking at those, there's a way to click on those playlists and you can go back to the very beginning, from when we very first sawed down a white oak tree to get the whole thing started. So we've come a long way and we are really close. Our next thing after this is pull the boat out, lift the mast up, fit the stays, and then test the rig. So it's very exciting. I think we'll do a little sea trial before we actually go to launch the first official time. So anyway, quite honestly, just a few more episodes and we're done. We'll have hopefully a good launch and sailing video at the end of this. And so it's been quite a ride. My whole objective with this has always been to try to create a visual and audio record of each little piece of this build, so that a person that wants to build this boat can hopefully avoid some pitfalls, find some useful information, and be able to do the same thing that I've done. This is a very complicated boat to build. So Maynard Bray's book, Building the Haven 12 and a half, was a help. There's a lot on the plans. And quite honestly, I've gotten an awful lot of help from other builders, and especially Haven builders. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that has helped me in this process, and I hope that what I've done here can certainly help a lot of other people as well. So anyway, let's see how we get this bridle or span put together so that we can lift the peak up when we go to raise the sails. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am getting the gaff ready for the bridle. The bridle is a piece of wire that just kind of makes a loop, and then your peak halyard attaches to that. The plan says that you're supposed to wrap the wire around the gaff, but it doesn't really say how to secure it where you want it. And I did some measuring up on the plan there, on our sail plan up here, and it basically gives me the dimensions of where this thing's supposed to go, where this bridle's supposed to fit in. So I thought about using some little eye straps, and that would probably work, and just running the bridle wire through that. And then I thought, nah, let's do something else. So what I'm doing is I'm making these little fins. This is white oak, and what I'm doing is I'm gluing and screwing them onto the sides of the gaff like this. And the idea is then we'll drill a hole through here and put that wire, let that wire come through both sides, crimp it off, and then it's one continuous loop, And same thing on the on up here. There's about a 19-inch gap on here for where this bridle goes at its two connection points. And I don't remember how far we were from the end of the gaff. I believe it was 16 inches. So 16 inches from the end is the first one, the highest one at the peak, and then 19 more inches down here. So that's just pulling it off of the plan. I think it'll work. So how I'm getting these dudes on here is I'm gluing them and screwing them. And I got the screws poking through there, and then I just bring it up here where I want it and make a couple of marks with the screws that I can see here now, and I can give a little bit of a pilot hole, drill this out just a little bit. So start right there. I've got them coming in at an angle, but I can't start my drill just like that. I'm having to kind of come in straight and then turn it. Whoa, see what happened? This is Douglas fir, so it's not like this oak. You can drill in it, or you can screw into this not too terribly hard. Put a little Type Bond 3 on here, and then this will be our last one that we've got to put on here. Love me some Type Bond. Good stuff. All right, now let's see if I can put my holes in here where they're supposed to go. Looks like it. All right, lay a little extra glue in here on top of this. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out how long this bridle should be. It says it's 1/8-inch wire spliced around the gaff. This is a 3/4 inch equals 1 foot in real life. That also means that 1/16 of an inch equals 1 inch in real life. So I've measured this thing, and we can see that coming down from the peak is 2 inches or 32/16, and then going back from the connection point is 3/4 of an inch or 12/16. So I add those together and I'm 44/16 or 44 inches. So that's how long that wire should be. I'm assuming this is to scale, and I have no reason to believe it's not. So 44. So when I put it on the gaff here, this is up near the peak, the end of the gaff. So we're going to make a big loop that comes up through those two pieces of oak and back down through those two. And as far as I can figure, that loop needs to be 44 inches. So the next question is, how long does it need to be to get through those two, go under the gaff, and get crimped off? So I'm going to use some string and just kind of test this. And I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes in here that hopefully will be able to accept the 1/8 inch diameter wire. There's my mark, and that's right where it's supposed to come up. So I'm going to just put my holes right close to the edge here and in the middle of this. Just like that. Same thing here. I used a bit bigger than the 1/8 by, I think this was almost a 3/8 bit, so the wire should easily go through here, but not so big as to mess up the integrity of these. And quite honestly, these aren't really going to be holding it other than just keeping it from moving up and down, because we're still going to bring the wire underneath here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of string and kind of tie it on here about how I think the wires will crimp on both ends, and then see if I can create a 44-inch loop, and then in that way I'll know just how long the wire needs to be. So we know we need at least 44 inches. And I'm going to say maybe 8 more inches to go around this, maybe 6. So what's that? If I go 6, 50, see how long it is. The rest of the story with this is, you know, I hope this works in real life. So when we get the mast up and test raising the sail and that sort of thing, then we're going to have a really good idea. And I suppose if it's not long enough or it's too long, we'll just have to adjust it as we go. But I'm going to trust the plan for right now and hope that, that it works out right. I'm going to say let's go with 6 feet to start out with, and then we'll cut it back from there. Kind of hard. It doesn't seem like you'd need 6 feet for, this is only 19 inches here. All right, more in a minute. What I've learned about cutting this wire is my Dremel tool here with a little cutting wheel on it works the best, and it works even better if it's under a little bit of tension. It'll keep that wire from fraying when it gets cut. And it frayed anyway. Ugh. I'm actually able to wind that back up okay. I'm going to put just a little bit of electrical tape on there so it doesn't come apart. I'm going to mark off the 44 inches that I need on the wire. And so since I am 72 inches, because it's 6 feet, I'm just going to subtract the 44 and then split it in half and mark my ends. So I've got equal ends on both sides. So 72 minus 44 is what, 28? Yeah. So 14 inches in on each end. And that should be right at 44 inches. Let's check. Okay, here's one mark right where that screw is. Okay, we're 45, so pretty darn close. We've got about 14 on that end, right at 14 on that end. It'll be darn close. All right, let's try to thread it through there and see what happens. Reminds me of something my dad used to say. Well, this should be like threading a noodle up a wildcat's ass. Where did he come up with that? Okay. I clearly have more than I need. Well, that's gonna work out just good. So that right there should give me my 44-inch loop, just like that. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get my little clamps, put them on there, and then cut the end off. I may leave a little bit of extra on there in case I gotta undo it. It's gonna be trial and error, we'll see. Okay, so we got this on here, and we're looped through the front there, through the back one. I've got my little crimping gizmos on here, and I don't have them tightened down yet, but I've got, you can see my black mark here, and over here, we've got right at 44 inches of this span, and then we've got this block here that goes on there like that, so it can move on the span, and then the halyard will actually run through here to lift the peak up. So anyway, that's how I'm doing it, and I'll obviously need to cut those wires off, but I think I'm gonna just try to secure these for a test run before I even crimp these down. In case it's not quite big enough or it's too big, I can adjust it. So we may just tape those real good when we do a test for lifting the mast up. So anyway, I hope this is helpful.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.